number. Hand-watering trees more than twice a week will still be allowed. In Eagle Rock, Blake Trolley, KFI News.
A new effort to protect abortion rights is happening this morning. The Senate will vote on whether to advance a bill that would turn the historic Roe v. Wade ruling into federal law. Even though Republicans are expected to block it, Majority Leader Chuck Schumer says at least this will put every senator on the record. Firefighters have contained a vegetation fire that spanned more than 600 acres at Camp Pendleton Marine Base. The U.S. Marine Corps says the fire was reported yesterday afternoon. The CHP says smoke could be seen in parts of OC and San Diego. Camp Pendleton says firefighters were on patrol throughout the night.
I'm going to find the defendant not guilty to the charge of indecent assault and battery.
A Boston judge has rendered a verdict for celebrity chef Mario Batali. He was accused of forcibly kissing and groping a woman at a restaurant in 2017. Batali had waived his right to a jury trial, so the case was heard by a judge in Boston.
It requires that the fact finder be satisfied or be convinced to an abiding conviction to a moral certainty that the charge is true. That's not the case here. Commonwealth has not met its burden to the degree that's required by law.
Mr. Batali was once host of the ABC cooking theme show, The Chew. And the teaser trailer for Avatar 2 has received more than 140 million views in its first 24 hours. Disney and 20th Century say the YouTube views do not include the millions of people who saw it in theaters before the Doctor Strange sequel over the weekend. Avatar was released in 2009 and was the top-grossing movie of all time and still is. Avatar: The Way of the Water is set for a December release. It was originally planned for 2014. We'll get a look at your drive with the KFI in the sky in just a moment, but first it's Sports with Wayne.
The Dodgers bounced back from an opening loss to demolish the Pittsburgh Pirates in Game 2 by a score of 11-1, including this dinger from Edwin Rios.
Rios hits a high fly ball to right. It's carrying at the warning track. It is at the wall. It is gone over the Clemente wall for a two-run home run. Edwin Rios makes it 11-0.
And the Pirates did manage to get on the board late in the game to save a tiny bit of face there. The series concludes this morning at 9:35 live on AM 570 LA Sports. The Angels' victory over the Tampa Bay Rays was even more lopsided, a 12-0 shutout. And that series wraps up today at 4:07 with Shohei Ohtani on the mound. And the Kings have taken the lead in their playoff series against the Edmonton Oilers. They won Game 5 by a score of 5-4. They could take it all in Game 6 tomorrow at 7 at home. You can hear it live in HD on the iHeart app. I'm Wayne Mesnick, KFI Sports.
If your business has 5 or more employees and managed to survive COVID, you are eligible to receive a payroll tax rebate of $26,000 per employee. And this is not a loan. This is a refund of your taxes. Now, the trick is getting your hands on it. A lot of red tape. And so how do you deal with that? Well, let me suggest going to getrefunds.com. These guys are specialists, also women, are specialists in this little-known payroll tax refund program. They do all the work, no money up front from you. As a matter of fact, they get paid by getting a percentage of the cash that they deliver to you from the government. It's a contingency arrangement. And in another program, they got my business a 6-figure refund. The average client on this program gets $250,000 back. Go to getrefunds.com, click on the Qualify Me button, you answer a few questions, and they do the rest. Getrefunds.com, getrefunds.com.
Checking your KFI financial report brought to you by Sweet James Accident Attorneys. Well, the Dow is up 234, S&P is up 21, NASDAQ down 5, and the average price of a gallon of unleaded gas in California is $5.85. And for the lowest gas prices in your area, you can check out our website at kfiam640.com, keyword gas.
If you're hurt in an accident, call the attorneys at Sweet James, 800-500-5200.
SoCal weather from KFI. We've got a mostly sunny day ahead, a lot like yesterday, with highs in the mid-60s to the 70s. Tomorrow we'll be in the 70s. It looks like by Friday, though, we'll see 80s and 90s, and we'll stay in those low 90s by Saturday. Right now it's 51 in Dana Point, 48 in Santa Clarita. Let's get a look at that drive with VKFI in the sky.
All right, good morning. If you are just joining us now, I have to warn you about severe, long
distance and time delays now leaving the San Fernando Valley. It's all about the South 405, up and over the hill at Getty Center. Now it's the two right lanes of the freeway and the off-ramp shut down. The problem, it's a rig that just about went over and toppled over, so there's a big rescue going on. The delays are horrendous. Everything is stopping at Sherman Way. Had a quick look at the surface streets now coming up over the hill, Beverly Glen, Coldwater, Laurel, all that. They're just horrible already. Everybody jumps on those roads. As a matter of fact, there's a crash at Coldwater Mulholland, so long time delays already forming getting out of the San Fernando Valley. South of this, of course, things are fine. Now, you might want to get over to go east and go to even the South 170 or the Hollywood freeway. Yes, they're real busy, especially the Hollywood from Sunset down, but sticking with the freeways might be the way to go. The East 101 coming out of the West San Fernando Valley is starting to jam up now with everybody trying to get to that South 405. So long time delays. In the basin, things aren't too bad. Things kind of normal for the Santa Monica Freeway and the South 5, leaving the East LA interchange. Getting a little slow now, but more on this 405 coming up as the morning continues. It's a bad one. Jeff Barr, KFI in the sky.
Did you know that most adults with autism are unemployed, and a major hurdle is the lack of job opportunities? That's why Autism Speaks is teaming up with Lee Container, the J. Donald and Laurel Lee Family Foundation Fund, and Delivering Jobs to create a more inclusive workforce in the U.S. Are you an HR professional, community leader, or business owner? Join us in creating a workforce where people of all abilities can contribute and thrive. To learn more, visit autismspeaks.org/employment.
With a Purigan whole house water filtration system, you know the water your family's drinking is safe. Sign up now and get $0 down, no payments for the first 3 months, and free lifetime servicing. Know what you're drinking. Go to PuriganWater.com. PUR, Hey, have you seen this week's deals from Stater Brothers? There's fresh savings on meat, produce, and just about anything for your family's meals. Don't miss out. Visit Stater Brothers Markets online to view the latest ads.
If you get hurt in an accident, choose the law firm with the experience to win. Choose Jacoby & Myers.
KFI.
More stimulating talk.
An iHeart radio station.
KFI AM 640. Bill Handel here. It is a Wednesday morning, May 11th. One of the big stories we're covering is we got our inflation report this morning, consumer price index, and the rate went from 8.5 to 8.3. Incremental, right? But does it mean more than that? And with us, Caleb Silver, ABC News contributor and editor-in-chief for Investopedia. So, Caleb, how big a deal is this that it's gone down so little?
Well, not that big of a deal, but it may signal that we peaked last month in the month of March. We had consumer prices up 8.3% year-over-year, April to April. If you take out food and energy prices, I don't know why we would, since we have to buy those anyway, it's at 6.2%, both near 40-year highs. But still, a good sign that we're not higher than we were a month ago, year-over-year. Maybe we peaked, but I wouldn't expect us to come down the hill very quickly here. We still have persistently high gas prices because of high energy and oil prices, and that translates into higher food prices and across the spectrum.
All right, so taking out food and gas, as you said, we all buy that. How about if you only count food and gas, which is a huge part of our expenditure? I mean, it has to be astronomical.
Yeah, when you look at gas prices themselves, they're up over 40% year over year. When you look at food prices in some categories, they're up double digits, 20%, 30% in some areas like meat, poultry, and fish, and some of the wheat, bread, and barley products that we buy. So yeah, it translates, a lot when we're just looking at food and energy because, again, we can't avoid but fill up our cars. We can't avoid but go fill up the fridge for our families. So that's where we're spending a lot of our money. The concern, though, is that those prices remain persistently high. We start to pull back on the discretionary items and on the services part of the economy, the restaurants, going out to eat, vacations, the items, the clothes maybe we wanted to buy, we couldn't buy. We may start to pull back there. And as you know, consumer spending drives 70% of U.S. GDP. So we've got to keep spending to keep the economy humming along. It's just harder in the face of inflation at a 40-year high and rising interest rates.
All right, from 8.5 to 8.3%, obviously it's a decrease. Does that really mean a lot, or is that basically a rounding error?
That's a rounding error and a headline number, but you want to watch the trend. So if next month we see another leg down, even if it's a couple of basis points,
That's a good sign, but I would not expect inflation to cool down to 2 or 3% anytime soon. We're going to have high inflation with us throughout the summer, probably throughout a good chunk of next year as well. Why? Because demand is very strong, energy prices remain very high and very volatile, and we still have supply chain issues. We have rising interest rates by the Federal Reserve to combat that rising inflation. The concern there is that it cools down the economy so much that we get into a potential recession.
All right, Caleb, thank you. I know you've got a lot of people to talk to. Thanks for being with us. We'll do this again.
My pleasure.
All right, Caleb Silver, ABC News contributor. And we talk about inflation, and as he pointed out, the two big hits are gasoline, and food. And there's things you can do about that, because let's say the inflation rate has gone up. You're dealing with an 8% inflation rate, which is very high. How do you bring that down? Well, there's a lot of stuff you could actually do to make it a 4 or 5% inflation rate. Number one, and this is the toughest one, don't drive as much. But if you're going to work, what the hell are you going to do? Food, you've got a lot of choices. Some of them easy, some of them difficult. For example, you don't buy as much meat. You don't buy the more expensive cuts. You do the chuck roast, and you figure out different recipes. You certainly don't go out to restaurants. Discretionary spending goes down. I mean, skipping a meal for 4 people, you just knocked off $80 or $100, unless you're buying fast food. So there's a chunk that you can do. And then at the supermarket, there are ways to save. You do generic brands across the board. I mean, I go to Costco, obviously. I talk a lot about Costco, but if you buy any Costco item, and it's a little bulky, but at the same time, if you look at the unit price, it's a huge savings. Toilet paper, paper towels, soaps, I mean, virtually anything. But even food stuffs are much cheaper. Dairy is cheaper. So you can do something. And here's the problem that I was thinking of, because we hear, here's what you can do, here's what you can do. How about people that are already doing all of that to save money? Where do you go? Well, you suffer. That's where you go. And of course, if you go out and try to rent or buy, I mean, you're done. I mean, if you need a place to rent, your lease is over, you live in a non-rent controlled building, an apartment, man, you are screwed beyond screwed. It is very, very tough right now. And we're just going through one of those periods in which you sort of gulp and take it. I mean, we've had fantasy land now for 20 years with 2% interest rates, with 2.5% interest rates on homes. At 5.5% that we are now, that used to be considered a good rate. 5.5% mortgage rates, interest was a good rate. Can you imagine that? California companies, something really interesting is going on when you look for jobs and you go, how much, and you say, how much money do my other colleagues get? No, we're not going to tell you. And some personal stories, because this law screwed me and my partner. And I'll explain why. Because you have to treat employees like crap. That is the golden rule whenever you own a business.
I feel like you might want to change your golden rule.
Okay, well, we'll talk about that coming up. In the meantime, Jennifer, live in the KFI 24-hour newsroom.
Britain and the EU appear to again be at loggerheads over Brexit. The UK has ramped up threats to scrap part of its trade treaty, with the bloc saying the rules are preventing the formation of a new government in Northern Ireland. The man who led Ukraine to independence during the collapse of the Soviet Union and served as its first president has died. Leonid Kravchuk had been in poor health. He was 88. And Hyundai is recalling more than 215,000 mid-side cars in the U.S. for the second time because fuel hoses can leak in the engine compartment. The recall covers 2013 and 2014 Sonata sedans. We'll get a look at your drive with VKFI in the Sky and the 5 next.
I've been doing handle on the law now for over 30 years and never found a lemon law lawyer I was comfortable recommending, except now. So let me introduce you to the Knight Law Group. If you bought or leased a car or a truck and you've repeatedly gone back for repairs to no avail, you may have a lemon on your hands. And you definitely have rights under California lemon law. Every year, auto manufacturers produce and sell cars that have real problems, and then you're stuck and you try, and it's hard to deal with them. Well, you can actually do something serious about it. Call the Knight Law Group. You may have the right to substantial money or the repurchase of your car, and you pay nothing out of pocket to have them represent you. For your free consultation and that kind of high-quality representation, call the Knight Law Group at 844-43-LEMON, 844-43-LEMON, or visit knightlaw.com. That's Knight with a K, knightlaw.com.
From the Driveway.com Weather Center, we've got a mostly sunny day ahead with highs in the mid-60s to the low 70s. This report is brought to you by Southern California Edison. Let's get a look at that drive on the 5.
Well, not too bad now. Now, part of the 5 is what we're talking about, but the northbound drive coming up from Buena Park all the way to East LA Interchange. So up to Valley View now. They're putting the last touches on that construction area, but after that, you're okay to the 605. Through the 605 up to the big interchange in East LA. It's just morning drive slow. Gotta warn you, if you just joined us, South 405 out of the valley in big trouble. Getty Center, downhill side, 2 right lanes and the off-ramps. The freeway is just a mess into the valley. Getting the freeway or using the freeways over to the east is a better idea. All the alternatives now up and over the hill pretty much used up. More on that coming up. Jeff Barr, KFI in the sky.
Southern California Edison's time of use rates let you lower your electricity costs during hours when renewable energy is more abundant. Learn more at sce.com/TOU rates. This report is sponsored by Whole Foods Market. Save on berries for your smoothies at Whole Foods Market. Get 2 6-ounce organic raspberries for $7 through May 17th, plus an extra 10% off for Prime members while supplies last. Promo varies by location. See app for details.
The job market is competitive right now, so you need to be competitive to attract top talent. If you're trying to fill open positions at your business, iHeartMedia is here to help. Use radio and digital targeting to find fresh, passive candidates currently in the workforce. These candidates are listening right now, looking for new opportunities. Together, we can let the community know you're hiring. Visit iHeartAdvertising.com. That's iHeartAdvertising.com.
Summer is here. Proms, vacations, family time, and grad night. Be sure to keep your family and loved ones safe from infection while you enjoy your time together. The next surge could be just ahead. Keep your loved ones safe. Visit your local COVID clinic and get a PCR or rapid result test. Visit one of their safe and clean facilities near you before you travel or if you feel that you may have been exposed. Life is for living. Book a test at covidclinic.org to keep the party rolling. covidclinic.org. Home title theft. That's the identity fraud you really need to worry about. Why? Because home title theft is on the rise. It's devastating, and you can even get evicted from your home. Look, credit card and bank identity thefts are a nuisance. But if a thief gets your credit card, the card company handles it. And the same with your bank account. Your bank covers it. But when a cyber thief forges his name onto your home's title, he can take over your home and even have you evicted. That's why you should protect the legal title to your home with Home Title Lock, America's leader in home title protection. The instant they detect a foreign or domestic cyber thief tampering with your home's title, they mobilize their U.S.-based experts to help shut it down. Protect your most valuable asset. Go to HometitleLock.com and register your address to see if you're already a victim. And use promo code RADIO for 30 free days of protection. Again, that's HometitleLock.com. Promo code RADIO.
Your stupid road diets and your bike lanes, God, you people are such pains in the...
Yeah, because 75% of the city drives. We drive.
You want to walk? Go ahead. Who are you telling me what to do? No, I'm not going to walk, and I'm not going to bike. I'm taking my car around. Shut up. John and Ken, weekdays at 2. On KFI. KFI AM 640. Bill Handel here. A Wednesday morning, May 11th. A lot going on. The war in Ukraine continues on. The incessant bombardment of civilian targets and the death. I mean, it's so such depraved stuff going on over there. And we just had Caleb Silver, ABC News contributor, with us. Inflation, relatively good news. The Consumer Price Index came out this morning. Inflation has gone down from a galloping 8.5% annual to a galloping 8.3%. So, I mean, going down, we'll take anything, but incremental, not much. The job site. I love talking about our working lives. Matter of fact, today I'm going to be doing a couple stories on that. But I want to do this one. It has to do with the pay gap. And a surprising end to this story that you probably wouldn't have guessed. And let's start with, there's a pay gap. We know that. Gender pay gap. It has gone down. I mean, it's better than it used to be, but it's still not wonderful. California, I think the pay gap is 87 cents for women for every dollar men make. Annual pay for women at average is $50,000. Men make almost $58,000. I mean, that's quite a gap. So there are a couple of bills going on in the world, in California, how unusual. And first of all, you want to know pay ranges and benefits across the board. You got to publish them. If you're running an ad, if you're sitting down with a potential employee, you get to say, here are the pay ranges. And you can't ask by law, that's already in place, you can't ask what someone made previously, which is what my partner and I, Karen, who's a lot tougher than I am, by the way, would say two things. Number one, we asked, or did when we were hiring someone, how much did you make before? So let's say the job is worth $60,000 a year. How much did you make before? 45. Okay, we'll offer 50, even though we knew we were going to offer 55. We just saved ourselves $5,000. And if we don't ask, then the job is worth 60, and you get offered pretty much the same thing. Fair to the employees, potential employees, not particularly. But hey, if you have an issue, go run a company. You know, start a company and you take the risks. All right, to go broke. The other issue is, and this is the one that is kind of interesting. Not only publishing and talking about what the workplace is about, publishing pay scales and reducing the gender gap, and we have found out, research has said, if you, for example, you run an ad and you publish, and again, we see this all the time here at iHeart, where if there's a job opening, they have to publish it. And then everybody applies, and of course, if you don't know the person, you have no chance, because you go back to it's who you know in life. But let's say you're hugely qualified, and now you find out how much that pay range is, depending on whether it's an entry level, depending on how much experience you have, depending on the education. And as of right now, if you look at the gender gap, two people walking in, male and female, same education, same experience, same ability to do the job, the skill level, and men are going to make more than women. And it really makes no sense anymore. I mean, historically, you can see, you can understand. Men have families, women stayed home, took care of the kids, men were the cavemen, women were the supplicants. Well, I mean, that's historically the way it went. Now, you think life has changed, except the pay gap, even though it is better, it's still out there, and it's substantial. And so, what do? In my case, it was easy at the surrogacy center that Karen and I had.
This
All
Baker.
our employees were women.
That
So
is
we didn't have to
also
worry about the pay gap. We
Karen.
screwed over everybody at the same.
Feature stuff.
So that was
This
story I
Baker.
want to share with you real quick.
Audio
I
stereo.
want to share this with you because it's so much fun.
This
I used
is
to
also
broadcast,
from
handling the law at a place where Michael Reagan, who was